Hi and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Last minute WWE Backlash predictions for you. Yes, I'm throwing them in very late on this pay-per-view, but we'll give you my picks very quickly, and I hope you do enjoy the show this evening. You can also let me know your predictions in the comments below. We'll start with the kickoff match of Bayley versus Riott. Now, I've seen a lot of people feeling that Bayley is going to win here. I think perhaps maybe a lot of people are feeling this because of the fact that maybe it will escalate that Sasha Banks rivalry more. Bayley can do what Sasha can't. But I'm looking at the bigger picture here and thinking that maybe WWE isn't pulling the trigger here with Sasha and Bayley, and it feels like they're quite happy to keep this going even longer and dragging it even further. So I kind of feel to myself here that Riott is probably going to pick up the victory. And another reason for it, this could perhaps maybe, as stupid as it sounds, perhaps reunite Bayley and Sasha for a time being to try and take on the Riott squad to then maybe fail and then fall out properly. I don't know. It feels like there's a purpose here with what's going on, and it feels like that we're just getting the starting seeds for this. And I feel there is a purpose for this kickoff match here this evening, and not just a simple feel-good victory. I feel also that Riott potentially could be a future challenger here for Nia Jax, because who really on the heel side is there? I feel it's a bit soon for Nia Jax to be taking on faces of the Raw Women's Champion, because to be brutally honest, she was just a heel. And if she was to go heel again, she'd be on the same side of people she's currently rivaling with, like Alexa Bliss, which just would not make any sense at all. So for me, I'm going to go for a Riott victory here on the kickoff match. Next, we'll look at the tag team match. Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, Bobby Lashley, there was a rumour going around he had quit the company this weekend. Apparently it was on Reddit. Thankfully, it was proven that it was the old time when Lashley actually left WWE in 2008. And I think really, you look at that, really, it comes down to the fact that Lashley hasn't really had a proper role in WWE since coming back in. It almost feels like he needed to have an impact, no pun intended. He needed to be given a big story to come into, and he really wasn't really been given that yet. And maybe with Strowman as his partner, maybe this is the point. Maybe there'll be a heel turn down the line and he'll turn on Strowman. Maybe that could happen, but I feel at this particular moment, I don't see that happening on this particular show, because even if Lashley was to do that now, I don't see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn pinning Braun Strowman. So I think for the time being, I think this could be the opener of the show. I'm going to go for Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley to pick up the victory. Kevin Owens lost on Raw, so I expect Sami Zayn to do the job here this evening. So that's going to be my prediction. Strowman and Lashley to pick up the victory tonight. Maybe the feud could be somewhere down the line, because they do need something for Strowman to do. And I do think the Greatest Royal Rumble winner will eventually get into the title picture once again. But it feels like it's not going to be after until we've seen Reigns and Lesnar one more time. Next, we've got the US Championship, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. I'm hoping we're going to get a heel turn out of this from Randy Orton. I feel he's very stale. But the match, I mean, could be all right. I mean, it's a match that was done 10 years ago. Two veterans, if you want, now of the game in pro wrestling. But yeah, I mean, it could be a good match. I'm interested to see how it's going to play out and where they'll go forward with it. If it's a one and done, to be honest, really, this could go either way. I'm not sure, but the belt has swapped around so much. I feel that Jeff Hardy has to retain here personally. I would like to see Jeff Hardy keep on with the belt, and hopefully it could lead to an all-heel turn down the line. And I think that's simply where I'm going to leave it there, because really with the United States Championship, anything is probably possible at this point. The belt has swapped so much. It's really lost a lot of importance in the last 6 months or so in WWE. One belt that seems to be gathering a lot of momentum is the Intercontinental Championship, and it's thanks to two people in this match, the champion Seth Rollins and The Miz. Now, The Miz has done a great job over the last 2 years, and of course, this goes to prove as well that it's a Raw versus SmackDown match here on a co-branded pay-per-view, the first of its kind, this Raw and SmackDown under the same roof going forward now on the B pay-per-views as well as the big pay-per-views. But Seth Rollins has won the belt WrestleMania, and it feels at the moment that Rollins really feels like back in, say, the mid-90s when Shawn Michaels had the belt, when Rob Van Dam had the belt in, like, the early 2000s. It really feels like a really creditable and giving a lot of love to the Intercontinental Championship. It's becoming a proper important belt once again. The belt that I probably grew up with as a child back in the early 90s, thinking, you know, this was a belt that was my favourite watching. You always see the great mid-carders go in with the best matches of the card. And the belt itself as well, I don't know, just always something about that belt I felt was always special and important. and it really feels like these two guys have brought that belt back to where it belongs. But speaking of which, this is a Raw versus SmackDown match, and of course as well, the United States Championship isn't going to be moving to Raw anytime soon. So for me, it's going to be the Raw guy that's going to pick up the victory here. So apologies to the Miz, you're not going to have that joint record championship with Chris Jericho. You're going to be heading back to SmackDown and probably looking to the United States Championship going forward, maybe. But for the time being, Seth Rollins will carry the flag for the IC title, and he will remain the champion. Next, we'll look at the SmackDown Women's Championship, Carmella versus Charlotte Flair. I'm unsure how this is necessarily going to finish, but one thing is for certain for me, Carmella has to retain the belt here. But I do feel that she's probably going to pick up the W here. I think the Iconics are probably going to help out here, and that's going to lead to almost like a 3-on-1 scenario, and Carmella will retain the belt. I mean, there is rumours going around that they could be a stable going forward now. Absolution are no longer a stable or a free personal stable now. It's all meant to be done according to Paige. So maybe we could have now the Invincibles with Carmella and the Iconics together. I think Carmella, she's got a lot of unwarranted stick so far since winning the SmackDown Women's Championship. I mean, she has improved on the mic. She's improved in the ring as well, and I'm hoping she's going to give a good show this evening in the match against Charlotte. I do feel, no, she's not the best on the current roster. If anyone wants to compare to some of the other female wrestlers, no, she's not in that category. But she is getting herself over, and she has done some good work. So I think she deserves a bit more credit, and I hope that she gets a bit of a title run here. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term title run, but certainly for another month at least, I would say would be a good thing. Maybe 2 at the most. That way maybe we can get Charlotte Flair versus Asuka at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship maybe. But I feel Carmella will retain this evening, and I hope it's going to be with the sister of the Iconics, and hopefully not so much verbal from the Iconics either. I'm not really a fan of the gimmick those ladies have currently had. I much prefer their NXT role. The Mean Girls, it seems to be more like the Mean Children now rather than the Mean Teens these days on WWE programming. But we'll move on anyway. And we'll go to the Raw Women's Championship. And then we did discuss Nia Jax earlier. It's been very strange, this program. I know Alexa Bliss has not been able to wrestle for the last few weeks, but she's getting back in the ring this evening. It's almost been roles reversed. Alexa Bliss now trying to push the bully card onto Nia Jax. Not enough has really been done this for me. I thought Nia Jax would at least retaliate in some form or fashion. But she hasn't. So is she a bully? We don't quite know. But one thing I would say is I would love to see Alexa Bliss win the belt back here. Nia Jax as champion is not working for me. It just isn't. I don't know where she's going to go after this in the program. Is it the right squad? Is it a program we want to see? Or is she going to start facing some of the faces? Could Ember Moon or Sasha Banks turn heel? Maybe then it could make some sense. But I mean, we've seen Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks a million times, and her versus Bayley as well. I feel they've put themselves into a corner here. I think Charlotte needed to go back to Raw. I think that would have been the right thing to do, to have Nia Jax, Bliss and Charlotte as the main three. You could have even then perhaps as well then Ember Moon there to make that top 4. But yeah, I don't know. I think Nia Jax is going to retain, but in my head, I really feel that Alexa Bliss kind of needs to get the belt here somehow. But I can't see it happening. I mean, Nia Jax has waited such a long time to get that belt. She's just got it a few weeks ago at WrestleMania. I can see the champion retaining. Next, we'll look at Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. Now, for me, this all depends, really, if it's a one and done or if we're going to get more than one match. If we're going to get more than one match, Big Cass is going over. But Big Cass has been so dominant in this program, and it's a true underdog story kind of been built here. It's almost the perfect way to bring Daniel Bryan back in one way, because Daniel Bryan likes to overcome the odds, and I think at the end, he's going to do that. He will be the winner at the end of this. And perhaps tonight it makes sense for him to win and then Big Cass to attack him after the match. We'll have to wait and see. But if it's a one and done, which currently I'm going to treat it as that, I'm going to put my prediction on for Daniel Bryan. But I will say that if Big Cass does win this evening, I expect this to drag on for another month or 2. We'll move on next then to Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. Raw versus SmackDown here. Roman Reigns has lost far too many times of late. It almost feels a little bit unnerving how many times he's lost, especially when I predicted he's going to win. But Joe, for me, I would love to see Joe pick up the victory here. I think Joe could be the MVP of SmackDown Live going forward, and I expect him to enter into the championship program like he's promised on SmackDown Live this week. And really, the best thing for him to do then is to pick up another victory. But as he's facing Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns feels he legitimately supposedly won that cage match at the the Greatest Royal Rumble against Brock Lesnar. It feels we're probably going to get Reigns and Lesnar one more time, so I'm going to go for a Roman Reigns victory here this evening. Then they can literally go off to do their own things on their own shows, and they can start afresh. Last but certainly not least is the WWE Championship. No disqualification. AJ Styles, the champion, versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, all day long, I thought Nakamura was going to be the winner here for a long time. I've really enjoyed the heel character. I love the new music, the whole thing. Nakamura is a breath of fresh air, and it works for me. I feel he is going to be possibly the heel of 2018. But then saying that, I mean, we've got Joe and The Miz on the same show here. It's an incredible lineup of heels you've got on SmackDown. So compared to what you have on Raw, it's not actually stronger on the red brand, I feel, at the current moment. I feel Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are probably the best heels they've got on Monday night at the moment. But looking at it here, I did think it would be Nakamura the whole way through. But when Samoa Joe did say to himself he was going to come into the title picture, it makes me believe AJ Styles is going to retain here, which is disappointing because I feel Nakamura perhaps needed the belt here, would have really completed the full heel turn for him. I think it would have made so much sense. But say that it's a one and done for Daniel Bryan and Big Kaz. I could see Nakamura going into a natural feud then with Daniel Bryan, and I think that would keep Nakamura quite hot after this, and certainly would keep Daniel Bryan. I mean, just the thought of that match is a dream match in itself. Then we could get AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. I mean, figure the top of the card on SmackDown Live. Incredible. I look forward to it. But what I would say is here, either AJ Styles to win by using a low blow himself, or finally AJ Styles is smartened up and is wearing a cup this evening, so he doesn't actually feel the effect of it. But it's a no DQ, so I hope there's a little bit of violence involved here. I hope there's a few weapons, maybe some tables, some chairs, kendo sticks. But I'm not holding much hope. I don't think that will happen. But then saying that, these two, I hope they steal the show. They don't really need the weapons, to be fair. This has got a great story to go with it anyway. It's the best storyline currently in WWE for me. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great match, and I really hope it's going to live up to the matches that we've seen previously. When we saw the Wrestle Kingdom match, I thought it was out of this world, was a match of the year candidate at that point. The ones in WWE, I feel they've held back up to now. The Greatest Royal Rumble was great up until the result. So let's see what happens here. I hope, feel this could be a show stealer. I think it could be a 5-star match. So that's it. That's my predictions there for you. Last minute here from YouTube, and you're listening to me here on SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do please like and share the video if you have enjoyed it. Let me know your predictions in the comments below right now. And yes, please subscribe to the channel on the race now to 250 subscribers. And yeah, enjoy Backlash this evening. I'll drop you a video very soon here again on the channel. Thank you for watching here on SCW, the wrestling channel, here on YouTube.com. Take care.